Welcome to our gardening guide, where today we're delving into the world of snake plants, also known as Sansevieria. These hardy and striking plants are not only known for their architectural beauty, but also for their ease of care and air-purifying qualities. In this video, we're going to explore the art of propagating snake plants, a simple and satisfying way to multiply these resilient green wonders. Before diving into the propagation process, it's important to understand what makes snake plants, or Sansevieria, such great candidates for propagation. These plants are known for their hardiness and resilience, making them perfect for beginners and experienced gardeners alike. Propagation is a process of creating new plants from the existing plant, and with snake plants, there are several methods to achieve this. One of the key aspects of snake plant propagation is understanding its growth pattern. Snake plants grow from rhizomes, which are horizontal stems that grow underground and produce roots and shoots. This characteristic plays a crucial role in how they can be propagated. Snake plants can be propagated in a few different ways, each method suitable for different parts of the plant. These methods include leaf cuttings, division, and rhizome cuttings. Each technique is fairly simple and can be successful with the right care and conditions. Leaf cuttings involve cutting a healthy leaf into sections and allowing them to root either in water or directly in soil. This method is great for those who want to start with a smaller portion of the plant. Division, on the other hand, involves separating the plant at its root, creating new independent plants. This method is ideal when you have a mature, crowded plant that needs more space to continue growing. Rhizome cuttings involve cutting the underground rhizome and planting it to grow a new plant, a method that utilizes the natural growth pattern of the snake plant. It's also important to note the conditions that favor successful propagation of snake plants. They need well-draining soil, moderate watering, and indirect sunlight to thrive, whether you're caring for a mature plant or a newly propagated one. Once you've selected the right part of your snake plant for propagation, the next step is preparing it correctly. This is a crucial phase that sets the foundation for successful growth in your new plants. Option 1 is to use leaf cuttings. If you're using leaf cuttings, use a clean, sharp knife or scissors. Cut a healthy leaf near its base. The cutting should be at least a few inches long to ensure it has enough area to develop roots. After cutting, let the leaf sit for a day or two. This allows the cut end to callus over, which helps prevent rotting when planted. You can also propagate by dividing the lead into sections. If you're choosing this method, each section should be about 2 to 3 inches long. Make sure each section has a clean horizontal cut at the bottom and a diagonal cut at the top. This helps you remember which end to plant in the soil. To prepare for planting, use a pot with good drainage and fill it with a well-draining potting mix. A mix designed for cacti and succulents works well for snake plants. Make sure the pot is not too large for the size of the leaf cuttings or divisions. A pot that's too big can hold excessive moisture, leading to rot. While not necessary, applying a rooting hormone to the cut end of the leaf can encourage faster root development. This can be particularly helpful if you're propagating in water. If you're propagating in water, use a container that can hold the leaf sections upright. Fill it with enough water to cover the bottom inch of the leaf cuttings. Be sure to change the water every few days to keep it fresh and reduce the risk of bacterial growth. After preparing your cuttings for propagation, it's time to move on to the planting process. Whether you're planting in soil or water, the way you plant and water your snake plant cuttings is critical for successful propagation. If you're planting in soil, take the following steps. First, insert the cuttings. Take your prepared leaf cuttings or sections and insert them into the potting mix. Plant them about an inch deep, ensuring that the calloused end, or the bottom end of the sections, is the one that goes into the soil. Firm the soil around the cuttings for stability, but avoid compacting it too much. Next, consider position and light. Place your pot in a location where it will receive bright, indirect light. While snake plants are tolerant of low light conditions, a good amount of indirect sunlight will encourage faster rooting and growth. Water the soil lightly after planting. The soil should be moist but not soggy. Overwatering can cause the cuttings to rot, so it's essential to allow the soil to dry out slightly between waterings. If you're propagating in water, follow these steps. First, submerge the cuttings. If you're propagating in water, submerge the calloused end of your cuttings in water, ensuring that about an inch of the leaf is underwater. Use a clear container so you can easily monitor root growth and water quality. Next, consider location and light. As with soil propagation, place the container in a spot with bright, indirect light. Avoid direct sunlight, which can be too intense and may hinder the rooting process. Be sure to change the water every few days to keep it clean and clear. This reduces the risk of bacterial or fungal growth that could harm the developing roots. If you start your propagation in water, you'll eventually need to transition the rooted cuttings to soil. Once the roots are about an inch long, you can plant them in soil following the same process as for direct soil propagation. Transitioning them to soil allows for more robust growth and is essential for the long-term health of your new snake plants. After your snake plant cuttings have been planted, proper care is essential to ensure healthy growth and development of new plants. Here's what you need to do to nurture and care for your newly propagated snake plants. Snake plants prefer to be on the drier side, so it's crucial not to overwater them. For soil propagation, water lightly just to moisten the soil, and then allow it to dry out completely between waterings. If you're propagating in water, remember to change the water regularly to keep it fresh and prevent bacteria buildup. While snake plants are tolerant of a wide range of light conditions, they thrive best in indirect sunlight. Place your propagated plants in a location where they receive bright, indirect light. Avoid direct sunlight, as this can scorch the leaves. Snake plants prefer warm and dry conditions. Keep them in a room with a temperature that is consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. They don't require high humidity and can thrive in the typical humidity levels found in most homes. Once your snake plant cuttings have established roots and show new growth, you can start to fertilize them. Use a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer, diluted to half the recommended strength. Fertilizing once a month during the growing season, spring and summer, is sufficient. If you started your propagation in water, you'll eventually need to transplant the rooted cuttings into soil. Do this once the roots are a few inches long. Transplant gently into a pot with well-draining soil, taking care not to damage the delicate roots. Keep an eye on your new snake plants as they grow. Signs such as drooping or yellowing leaves can indicate issues like overwatering or insufficient light. Adjust your care routine as necessary to address any problems that arise. Remember, growing snake plants from cuttings takes time. It may take several weeks or even months for roots to develop and new growth to appear. Be patient and give your plants the time they need to grow. After successfully propagating your snake plants, it's important to provide the right care to ensure they grow healthy and strong. This final section will cover the key aspects of post-propagation care. Transitioning to soil, if propagated in water. If you started your propagation in water, you'll need to transition the rooted cuttings to soil. Once the roots are a few inches long, gently plant them in a well-draining potting mix, similar to the one used for mature snake plants. Be careful not to bury the leaves too deep, just enough to support the plant and cover the roots. Newly potted snake plants prefer to be kept on the drier side. Overwatering can be detrimental, especially in the early stages of growth. Water sparingly, allowing the soil to dry out between watering. A good rule of thumb is to water when the top inch of the soil feels dry to the touch. Like mature snake plants, your new propagations will thrive in indirect, moderate light. Avoid placing them in direct sunlight, which can be too harsh and cause the leaves to scorch. A spot with filtered light, such as near a north-facing window, is ideal. Snake plants are not particularly fussy about temperature or humidity, but they do best in warmer conditions. Try to maintain a temperature above 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius and avoid cold drafts. Average home humidity is usually sufficient, but they can tolerate drier air as well. Young snake plants don't need much fertilization. If you choose to fertilize, do so sparingly and only during the growing season, spring and summer. Use a balanced, water-soluble fertilizer diluted to half the recommended strength. Keep an eye on your new snake plants for signs of growth or any potential problems. Slow growth is normal, especially in the beginning, so patience is key. If you notice any yellowing or mushy leaves, this could be a sign of overwatering. As your new snake plants grow, they may eventually outgrow their pots. When repotting, choose a pot that is slightly larger and always ensure it has adequate drainage. As we wrap up our guide on propagating snake plants, remember that patience and gentle care are key to seeing your cuttings transform into thriving new plants. Embrace this rewarding journey of plant propagation, and soon you'll have more beautiful snake plants to enhance your space or share with others.